Good day, everyone. We are the Group 10 or the Chapter 10 reporter. Together with my group mates, Mr. ROSAUT, REDERA, Pat, and PASIOL, and yours truly, Miss Pagalan. So, we are going to report the Chapter 10 Jose Rizal and Philippine Nationalism, Bayani, and Kabayanihan. Before we start, let us know who is Jose Potasio Rizal Mercado E. Alonzo Rialonda, or also known as Jose Rizal. In the Philippine history, do you know him? Jose Rizal can serve as a sensible model and inspiration to every Filipino. If one is looking for someone to imitate, then Rizal is a very viable choice. Every Filipino know him as our national hero with his philosophies, life principles, convictions, thoughts, ideals, aspirations, and dreams can be a very good influence to anyone. Jose Rizal is a man of education, which he highly regarded academic excellence, logical and critical thinking, philosophical and scientific inquiry, linguistic studies, and even cultural research. Not just that, he also manifested versatility and flexibility while sustaining a strong sense of moral uprightness. With this, he is really a model of every Filipino. He valued nationalism, patriotism, and heroism or kabayanihan in our Filipino word. So let us know the difference between bayani and hero. Let us first know what is hero. According from the Merriam-Webster online dictionary, it is defined as a mythological or legendary figure. It is often defined descent endowed with great strength or ability. It can also be an illustrious warrior or a person admired for achievements and noble qualities as a human, or one who shows great courage, just like how Rizal shows his courage by writing up what's happening with his country, or even the qualities of a god's extraordinary strength, bravery, and ability. So more likely, hero can be defined as those with supernatural powers that we can see in movies. Let us define bayani. In our Filipino counterpart with hero, they basically similar meaning but with some contextual distinctions from our own words of understanding as Filipinos. On the other hand, the UP Dictionaryong Filipino gives three main meanings for bayani, which is first, a person of extraordinary courage and ability. Second, a person considered to possess extraordinary talents or someone who did something noble. This could be defined in Filipino word as dakila. The third one would be a leading man in a play. So, let us review some concepts from a history professor, Mr. Ambet Ocampo. He sees it significant that bayani comes from a few words under bayan. Bayan is also a town, municipality, pueblo, or a nation and can refer to people and citizens or mga mamamayan in Filipino words. This could also be people who live in those communities or to those originate or came from the same place with the Filipino word kababayan. Ocampo, bayan also refers to the day, araw, or a time of the day, malalim ang gabi. Ocampo thus concludes that hero and bayan do not have the same meaning. Bayan is richer than what hero because it may rooted in bayan as place or in doing something great, not for oneself but for a greater good for community or the nation.
Hello everyone, my name is JUNEREY S. ROSAUT, BSTCM 2K3. The changing forms and definitions of Bayani and Kabayanihan. Overseas Filipino workers or OFWs. OFWs are often referred to as mga bagong bayani. Working abroad is a form of taking risks for them as it entails sacrifices and likely dangers such as loneliness, anxieties, trauma, fatigue, culture shock, and exploitation. OFWs also play a vital role in the progress of the Philippines' economic status. These are remitting their savings back to the country, saving the country from defaulting on foreign debt obligation, stabilize the Philippine peso in relation to peso-dollar exchange, also contribute to the country's GNP growth. OFWs are called Bagong Bayani or Modern Heroes. Philippines celebrate December as the month of OFWs. The online article, Ang Salitang Bayani sa Pilipinas, explains its etymology. Ang ilan sa mga derivatibo ng salitang bayani ay Bajani, Majani, Bagabnim, and Bahani. Mga iba't ibang uri ng antas ng bayani ng madirigma na nakapatay sa kaaway. A. Maniklad, nakapatay ng isa o dalawang kaaway, karaniwang nakasuot ng putong na pula at dilaw. B. Hanagan, sumasailalim sa ritual at dapat siyang saniban ni Tagbugsaw, ang Diyos ng pakikidigma at kainin ng atay at puso ng kaaway. Karaniwang nakasuot ng pulang putong. C. Kinabuan, nakapatay ng 20 to 27 kaaway, karaniwang nakasuot ng pulang pantalon. D. Luto, nakapatay ng 50 to 100 na kaaway at karaniwang nakasuot ng pulang jacket. E. Lunugom, pinakapaborito ng Diyos na Tagbugsaw na nakapatay sa sarili nitong tahanan. Itim ang karaniwang nasuot ng mga ito. Dr. Zeus A. Salazar, a Filipino historian and pantayong pananaw proponent. He offers another sense of term bayani and believes that mga bayani are different from heroes. Mga bayani ay mga taong naglalakbay at bumabalik sa bayan, while Western concept heroes are lumalaban mag-isa at gumagawa ng magagandang impluwensya at mga gawain sa bayan.
Good day everyone, I am Hazel and Pat and I am one of the reporters for today. So who made Rizal our foremost bayani? Esteban A.D. Ocampo is a well-known defender of Jose Rizal's being the Philippines' foremost hero. He believes and thus justifies that Rizal is our foremost and greatest national hero. He also believes that uses the meaning of term hero by the Webster's New International Dictionary of the English Language is first, permanent or central personage taking admirable part in any remarkable action or event. So permanent means popular. So if popular kuno kaana nga kanang panghitabo kay kanang isa ka sa mga consider nga hero. Tapos dapat dili lang kay popular, dapat kanang admirable ang imong gibuhat, dapat na kay kanang moral nga mahatag sa tao, inana siya. So the next is a person of distinguished valor. Valor means strength of mind or spirit that enables a person to encounter danger. So the last one, a man honored after death by public worship because of exceptional service to mankind. So, musabdan ra jud kayo ang ang mga explanation na gigather ni Esteban A.D. Ocampo no nga kanang definition kung unsaon para ma-hero ka Dili lang kay basta-basta kay gusto na ka umahero pero gusto ni mahero pero wala kay gibuhat na kanang exceptional, kanang admirable, remarkable sa tao. Dili pwede nga gusto lang ka mahero kay gusto nimo. Dapat kanang natay mga kumbaga guidelines para kanang mahimutang hero. So dili gid siya easy nga mahimutang hero basta-basta lang. So referring to the first definition, Rizal was said to have taken an admirable part, which in the propaganda campaign 1882 and 1896, and his Noli Me Tangere Berlin 1887, to be far superior and greater than those published by Pedro Paterno, Marcelo del Pilar, Garciano Lopez, Jaina, and Antonio Luna. In fact, Rizal's Noli and the File resulted in the enactment of a law now known as R.A., a Republic 1425. In 1902, Congressman Henry Allen Cooper of Wisconsin delivered a eulogy of Rizal and even recited the hero's last poem at the U.S. House of Representatives to justify the capacity of the Filipinos for the self-government. He said, so kani ang iyang giingon dito sa U.S. House of Representatives. So, sir, I say to all who denounce the Filipino indiscriminately as barbarians and savages, without possibility of a civilized future, that this despised race proved itself entitled to their respect and to the world the character of Jose Rizal. So, grabe yung kanang kuan ni giingon ni Congressman Henry Allen dito sa Wisconsin. Nag-deliver siya eulogy para i-honored ang death ni Jose Rizal. So, sa ato pa, isa sa mga nag-foremost nga para mahimong bayani si Rizal, si Congressman Henry. So, the appeal resulted in the approval of what is popular known as the Philippine Bill of 1902. Using the second meaning, let's go back to the definitions of Ocampo. Okay, wait lang. Okay, the second meaning, the letter B. Using the second meaning of hero, the Ocampo claims that no Filipinos has yet been born who can equal or surpass Rizal as a person of distinguished valor or enterprise in danger, fortitude, and suffering. While the third meaning anchor on the quoted definition of hero de Ocampo purposes that Rizal is a man honored after death by public worship because of exceptional service to mankind. We can say that even before his execution, Rizal was already acclaimed by both Filipinos and foreigners as the most foremost leader of his people. Writing from Barcelona to the Great Malayan on March 10, 1889, so this is what Del Pilar said. Rizal no tiene aún derecho a morir. Su nombre constituye la más pura y inmaculada bandera de aspiraciones y Plaridel. Los suyos no son otra causa más que inmaculada unos voluntarios que militan bajo esa bandera. So this is what it means. Rizal does not yet have the right to love. His name constitutes the purest and most immaculate banner of aspirations. And Plaridel is our no other cause than the immaculate some volunteers who militate under that banner. Fernando Acevedo es Rizal's distinguido amigo, compañero y paisano. That means my distinguished fellow countryman friend. Wrote Rizal a letter from Zaragoza, Spain on October 25, 1889. So this is what he wrote on for Rizal. I see you, the model of Filipino. Your application to study and your talents have been placed on height which I revere and admire. So that will be all. My fellow reporter will be continue what I discussed. Thank you.
Hello, good day everyone. My name is FERRY PASIOL from BSTCM 2K3. My report is the continuation report of HAZEL and PATH. Even before the breakout of the revolution against Spain in 1896, many instances can be cited to prove that this country here and abroad recognized Rizal's leadership. In early part of 1899, he was unanimously elected by the Filipinos in Barcelona and Madrid as honorary president of La Solidaridad. In 1891, Rizal was again unanimously chosen responsible chief of the Spanish-Filipino Association. He was also the founder and moving spirit in the founding of La Liga Filipina in Manila on July 3, 1892. A year after Rizal's execution, General Emilio Aguinaldo and the other revolutionary chief exiled to Hong Kong held a commemorative program there on December 30, 1897, on the occasion of the first anniversary of the hero's execution and martyrdom. On September 15, 1898, President Aguinaldo invoked the spirits of the departed heroes of the fatherland, primarily Rizal. Then, on December 20, 1898, at the revolutionary capital of Malolos, President Aguinaldo issued the first official proclamation making December 30 of the year Rizal Day. The same proclamation ordered the hoisting of the Filipino flag at half-mast from noon on December 30, 1898, and the closing of all the offices of the government during the whole day of December 30. Dr. Camilo Ocias and Wenceslao Iritania both spoke of the universal homage accorded to Rizal immediately after death. Among the scientific necrological services held specially to honor Rizal, the one sponsored by the Anthropological Society of Berlin on November 20, 1897, at the initiative of Dr. Rudolf Virchow. Its president was the most important and significant. Dr. Ed Seller recited the German translation of Rizal's My Last Farewell on the occasion. The newspapers, magazines, and other periodicals throughout the civilized world in Germany, Austria, France, Holland, London, the US, Japan, Hong Kong, and Macau, Singapore, Switzerland, and Latin American countries published accounts of Rizal's martyrdom to render homage to his greatness.
Hello everyone, I am AIZA de REDERA. So my report is the continuation of the report of FERRY PASIOL. So let's start. According to D. Ocampo, he commented that Andres Bonifacio and not Jose Rizal deserves to be acknowledged as the Philippines' first national hero. Related to this claim is the argument that the foremost national heroes of some other countries are soldiers, generals, while Rizal never hurled any gun, rifle, or a sword in fighting for the liberty and independence of our country. In Rizal versus Bonifacio debate, D. Ocampo explains that our people, in exercising their good sense, independent judgment, and unusual discernment, have not followed the examples of many other nations in selecting and acknowledging a military leader for their greatest hero. Rafael Palma said in part, whereas generally the heroes of Occidental nations are warriors and generals who serve their cause with a sword, distilling blood and tears, the hero of the Filipinos served his cause with a pen, demonstrating that the pen is as mighty as the sword to redeem a people from their political slavery. It is true that in our case, the sword of Bonifacio was after all needed to shake off the yoke of a foreign power. But the revolution prepared by Bonifacio was only the effect, the consequence of the spiritual redemption wrought by the pen of Rizal. As a conclusion, D. Ocampo writes, who made Rizal the foremost hero of the Philippines? The answer is no single person or groups of persons were responsible for making the greatest Malayan the number one hero of his people. Rizal himself, his own people, the foreigners all together contributed to make him the greatest hero and martyr of his people. No amount of adulation and canonization by both Filipinos and foreigners could convert Rizal into a great hero if he did not possess in himself what Palma calls excellent qualities and merits. Directly answering the opinion that Rizal was an American-made hero. Norman Owen, a non-Filipino historian, explains, but many Filipinos had already made Rizal a national hero, even before the American arrived. The Katipunan itself venerated Rizal, and Ronaldo Leto's research reveals how deeply this veneration, verging on worship, had penetrated the peasantry, especially in the Tagalog region. So it could be argued that what the Americans were doing was simply confirming officially a decision, the Filipino and the one who most completely embodied the national dream. Professor Owen, he wrote, I have to say that as an outsider who has studied Philippine history for nearly 50 years, I find Rizal to be far and away the most admirable Filipino, worthiest to be the country's greatest novelist and among its greatest essayists, historians, and poets, and he dedicated his life and eventually his death to the welfare of Filipinos at a time when many of his countrymen were scarcely aware of the nation as such. He had his flaws. Who doesn't? But his combination of intelligence, creativity, and pragmatism has rarely been equaled in any country. The Philippines should be proud of him.